Dandy escapes from marriage. Chapter 41. When the two returned home, they happened to meet the bamboo weaver who were helping them feed the chickens. "Brother Xiao, we're back," Lu Shu called out. Fact was, the bamboo weaver had heard their voices from afar, but he wasn't accustomed to initiating greetings. He pretended not to hear them until they spoke first, then he turned his head and responded with a simple hum. His gaze fell on their joined hands, and as someone single, he couldn't help but reveal an envious look. Such sincere and sweet friendship among young people. "Thank you for the help these days, big brother," Shen Cao expressed his gratitude. "It's no trouble," the bamboo weaver pursed his lips. "Now that you're back, I'll head off." "Oh, wait a moment." Lu Shu released Shen Cao's hand and grabbed the bamboo weaver's arm as he tried to slip away, smiling knowingly. "How's it going with that lady?" Shen Cao's fingers suddenly lost their grip, twitching twice before he turned to check on the pomelo tree and the chicken eggs. The bamboo weaver's face suddenly flushed and he turned away from them. It's going fine." "Don't lie," Lu Shu poked his head out and grinned mischievously. "Looks like things are progressing well." The bamboo weaver tightly pursed his lips. "Well then, I'm relieved. If you need any help, feel free to come find me," Lu Shu encouraged. After hesitating for a moment, the bamboo weaver whispered, "She wants to come to my house, but I'm afraid she might get scared." "Why would she? Just tidy up your house, cook for her yourself, let her see that you can handle both the outside and inside matters, and things should be fine." Lu Shu could tell that the woman was a practical one. She didn't care much for romance, she just wanted someone reliable to live a good life with, and the basket weaver happened to be that kind of person. "Really?" The bamboo weaver relaxed a bit and continued, "She also has 2 children, and I'm a bit afraid. In that case, let's get to the bottom of this. Do you mind if she brings the children along?" Lu Shu chuckled. "It doesn't bother me at all," the bamboo weaver shook his head and confidently added, "I'm just worried that I'm too boring, and that the children won't like me." Lu Shu laughed, "That's fine. As long as you treat her well and treat the children as your own, they'll naturally like you." Encouraged by this, the bamboo weaver nodded, "Okay, I understand. Thank you. Well then, I won't keep you from going home to tidy up." Lu Shu smiled and saw him off. After the bamboo weaver left, Lu Shu turned to find Shen Cao squatting beside the sapling and watched him water it. Lu Shu suddenly got worried, will this tree survive? Both of them couldn't help but think of the failures in the vegetable garden. "It'll survive. I'll go ask the others later about tree planting methods," Shen Cao said. Now he dared not underestimate the land. So many people in the world made a living from the land. Every step had to be taken seriously, following the natural law step by step. There would be rewards for effort, provided that the effort was correct. That night, he went to the villagers' gathering to inquire about the details of planting trees. He learned that pruning, pest control, watering, and fertilizing were all necessary steps, not just planting and leaving it to fate. Speaking of which, a few years ago, my peach tree didn't bear much fruit and I was so angry that I cut it twice. I don't know if it's because heaven heard my grievances, but this year it's full of fruit, one person said. "It's not that heaven helped but that you did it right," Lu Shu added. "I've been to orchards before and seen many fruit trees stripped of their bark. I asked about it, and the orchardists said doing so ensures a harvest the following year." "Why is that?" Shen Cao was curious. "They don't know either, it's just wisdom passed down through generations. They do it and it works," Aunt Zhu nodded along with others. Just like that, Shen Cao had a sudden realization, as if he had found a clear goal. Until today, his family, including himself, had always assumed they would follow the path of imperial examinations, but he never knew what he could really do if he truly became an official. He had seen too many people succeed in the imperial examinations and then spend their entire lives compiling documents in the Hanlin Academy, where everything was clear at a glance. Those with greater abilities could rise quickly, but the higher the official position, the heavier the responsibility, and the more complex the interpersonal relationships. Every hour of the day was filled with tasks, leaving no time to care about the lives of the common people. Before this, he had studied hard in the cold window of the imperial examinations, just hoping to do something for the people. But what did the people care about the most? What were their most practical interests? It was the land. Late at night, after Lu Shu finished bathing, he found Shen Cao still writing by the candlelight. He walked in and asked, "Why aren't you getting ready for bed yet?" "I'm organizing today's notes," Shen Cao replied. Lu Shu glanced over and recognized the booklet summarizing crop cultivation techniques they had discussed earlier. He chuckled, "Are you preparing to become a big landowner?" Shen Cao also smiled, "I might just end up being a farmer for the rest of my life. Is that okay?" "What's wrong with that?" Lu Shu leaned on the table, smiling. "You don't mind me, a grown man doing makeup, so why should I object to you being a farmer? Besides, if we can eat rice and vegetables and fruits that you've grown yourself every day, that would be great. Aren't you afraid of being poor for the rest of your life?" Shen Cao asked with a smile. "No, we have hands, feet and brains. We'll find a way to make money," Lu Shu affirmed. "You're right," Shen Cao dipped his brush in ink. "I still have some work to do. It's late, you should go rest first." "All right, you should get some sleep too," Lu Shu turned and left. Shen Cao paused with his brush, looking up at Lu Shu's departing figure. Suddenly, he realized that now that they were back home, they had separate rooms, one person per room, unlike at the inn where they naturally shared a bed. Moments later, a scream came from the next room. Immediately after, Lu Shu rushed over urgently, "Oh no, I just drank some water and accidentally spilled it on the bed. Now my bed is all wet." "Shen Cao, ... What's wrong?" Lu Shu looked at his silent expression and suddenly felt a bit guilty. He asked cautiously, "Can't you accommodate me here?" Shen Cao swallowed hard, "I just had tea and accidentally wet the bed, too." Lu Shu furrowed his brows and walked over to the bed. Seeing the large wet spot, it didn't look like something caused by spilled water. It looked more like someone deliberately poured something in it. He looked at Shen Cao with a half-smile, and Shen Cao calmly said, "Looks like we'll have to sleep on the floor tonight." "No need, my bed is only slightly wet, we can sleep on it." Lu Shu pulled him to check the adjacent room. Shen Cao looked at the fist-sized water stain on the bed and couldn't help but laugh bitterly. With the circumstances deliberately induced by the two of them, they ended up naturally lying down together. This bed was smaller, so their arms were next to each other. No one spoke for a while. Finally, unable to bear it, Lu Shu got up and brought a palm leaf fan. "It's too hot. How can anyone sleep in this weather? Or should I sleep on the floor?" "Hey, don't go. It's not your fault, it's this cursed weather." Lu Shu quickly grabbed him and frantically fanned him. "How about this, does it feel cooler?" Shen Cao took the fan and fanned him back, starting a casual conversation. They went from discussing the eggs at home to the rouge business, then from the melons in the fields to the baked goods in the capital. "You're making me hungry," Lu Shu licked his lips. "If we have time, let's go to the capital and eat baked goods," Shen Cao seized the opportunity. "It's too far. I don't want to go. There are baked goods in town too." "I don't want to go to the capital," Lu Shu hesitated. "Why don't you like the capital?" Shen Cao was curious. "It's far, and I don't have any relatives or friends there. There are too many high-ranking officials and nobles, as well. I feel like I'm being watched every time I step out. If I make a mistake, I could offend someone at any time," Lu Shu said. Indeed, someone as carefree as Xiao Wu probably wouldn't like the capital much. "Have you been to the capital before?" Shen Cao asked casually. "I went once, I think when I was 4 or 5 years old. My parents went to do business and visit friends, so they took me along. But I don't really remember much. Lu Shu suddenly turned his head and grinned mischievously. They never visited that friend again. Do you know why? Shen Cao. Because I punched their precious son. Why did you punch him? I don't remember anymore, and my parents didn't know either. By the time they found out, we were both bruised and swollen. It's normal for kids around 4 or 5 years old to fight. Yeah, but my parents probably felt guilty and a bit scared, too. I heard that the family was high-ranking officials, and they were afraid they might come after me. So, I'm actually afraid that if I go to the capital one day, I might run into them. What if they come looking to settle scores with me? Don't worry, I won't let anyone bully you. Shen Cao held his hand. They locked eyes for a moment, and Lu Shu said, with the atmosphere like this, isn't it inappropriate if we don't kiss? Shen Cao chuckled softly, leaned towards him, and kissed his lips. Underneath the blanket was dry straw, making rustling sounds that somewhat disrupted the atmosphere. They kissed and laughed together. Lu Shu said, once we earn some money, the first thing we'll do is replace this bed. Yeah, and knock down this wall too. The next day, Shen Cao had a rare day off from transcribing books in town, so he went into the mountains with Lu Shu. One picked flowers while the other looked at trees, each busy with their own tasks. Occasionally, they would call out loudly if the other wandered too far. After half a day passed in haste, Lu Shu shouted towards the direction of the mountain, "Ah cow, I'm a bit hungry. Let's go, back home." Okay. They returned home, and after Lu Shu lit the fire, he only needed to add some firewood occasionally. He went to arrange the flowers they had picked today, took Shen Cao's medicine pestle, and pounded flower juice at the doorstep of the hall. Before long, there was a polite knock on the courtyard door. Lu Shu was puzzled because such polite knocking clearly wasn't characteristic of villagers who usually just shouted. He got up and walked to the edge of the courtyard wall, peeking out to see 2 unfamiliar men standing at the door, looking up and meeting his gaze. "Who are you?" "We're passing by and wanted to ask little brother here for some water." "Is that okay?" the tall man asked cheerfully. Lu Shu quickly scanned them. They were dressed in luxurious clothes, with handsome features and polite manners. They didn't seem like bad people, so he turned to open the door and casually picked up the nearby cudgel, just in case. "Who's there?" Shen Cao heard visitors outside and instinctively thought it was his elder brother. He went out to check, only to realize they were strangers. "They're passing by and asking for water," Lu Shu replied. Shen Cao's gaze paused on the 2 casually confident men. One was tall and handsome, and the other was refined and noble. Both looked ageless. He smiled slightly, "Please come in, it's too hot outside." The 2 followed behind Lu Shu into the house. When they entered, they saw the pot for grinding medicine. The quiet man suddenly asked, "What are you doing here?" "Making rouge," Lu Shu replied. The man raised his eyes and unexpectedly glanced at him. Lu Shu couldn't help but look at him a few more times. "Do you know how to make rouge?" "Yeah, but it's been a long time since I've done it. I'm not sure if I can still do it well." The man seemed quite curious. He paused and stood nearby, watching him and waiting for his next move. Lu Shu misunderstood his intentions and stared blankly at him for a while, saying, "Although you're handsome, you can't just keep staring at me like this, it's awkward." Just as he finished speaking, Shen Cao and the tall man walked over at the same time, looking surprised and cautiously eyeing the 2 strangers. The man, ... "The tea is ready, please have some tea," Shen Cao politely said. The man nodded and turned to go to the table, with the tall man following closely behind. "The porridge is almost ready. I'll check the pot." "You entertain them first," Shen Cao whispered to Xiao Wu. "Okay." Lu Shu sat down opposite them and kept staring at them, scrutinizing them with piercing eyes, recognizing the clothes they wore as purchased from the Li family in the capital. In the world of business, everyone knows about the Lu family in Jiangnan and the Li family in the capital, both dominating their respective regions as the wealthiest merchants. The Lu family has a broader range of business, often catering to ordinary households. However, the Li family's influence in the capital is intricate and deeply rooted, and they were backed by the Prince Regent, a formidable supporter. Therefore, their businesses mostly serve the nobility and officials. Commoners either can't afford their products or may not even have access to them despite their wealth. Fortunately, the Li family has no intention of monopolizing business nationwide. They concentrate their operations in the north, allowing both families to thrive peacefully. These two individuals are definitely not simple. Either they are fabulously wealthy, especially the fair-skinned man who was dressed in luxurious attire and showing no intention of being discreet. Every gesture and word exude the demeanor of someone of high status. Even the tall man defers to him, indicating that he holds a higher position. Quickly assessing the situation, Lu Shu asked, "How did the esteemed guests come across this remote place?" "We are traveling around and happened to pass through here," replied the tall man cheerfully. "Are you friends? Why didn't you bring your wives or family?" "Why wouldn't I bring them? He is right here." The tall man nodded towards the person drinking tea beside him. Lu Shu was surprised. Seeing the man not denying it, he exclaimed joyfully, "Really? How long have you been together?" 15 years. 15 years? That's amazing, truly amazing. You're too kind. Wait a moment. Lu Shu immediately ran to the kitchen to report to Shen Cao, "Ah Cao, they've been together for 15 years. That means we can too, right? Not just 15 years but 50, 100 years. Yeah," Shen Cao chuckled softly. "Yes." Excitedly, Lu Shu ran back out to continue chatting. He said to the tall man, "Brother, you're like a real brother to me, can you teach me?" "Teach what?" "Teach me how to." Oops, he already has someone, so what else should he do? Lu Shu's eyes rolled and he shuffled over to their bench, squeezing next to the tall man. He covered his mouth and was about to ask something confidential when suddenly there was a loud thump beside him. They both turned to see the fair-skinned man had been jostled off the bench, landing on the ground with his tea spilled. The man lifted his eyes and looked at them expressionlessly, as if observing two pigs about to be slaughtered for Chinese New Year. The two... Lu Shu was terrified and started whimpering. The next moment, the tall man picked up the man sitting on the ground, patted the dust off his backside, and then stomped his foot on the ground vigorously. "This ground is really hard. How can it be so unforgiving? Don't be angry, I've avenged you." "Hey, that's not how you take revenge," the fair-skinned man sneered twice, grabbed his ear and pulled him out. "Let's go." Lu Shu watched as the tall man was dragged out for a private scolding, trembling with fear. He quickly ran into the kitchen and hugged Shen Cao tightly. Hu, you're still the gentlest and the best." End chapter. Dandy escapes from marriage. Chapter 42. During the meal, Lu Shu noticed that the tall man showed no signs of embarrassment from earlier and seemed cheerful as he prepared to serve dishes to the person beside him. However, his chopsticks hovered uncertainly over the two plates for a while, unable to decide which one to pick. "These dishes are unfamiliar to us. Are they local specialties?" the fair-skinned man finally asked. "No, these are vegetables," Shen Cao admitted with guilt, bowing his head towards the two dark dishes. The two guests exchanged looks of confusion. Seeing this, Lu Shu glanced at them disapprovingly, then grabbed a large helping of the food and started eating enthusiastically. "It's delicious. If you don't eat soon, I might finish it all by myself." The guests watched him devour the food eagerly and couldn't help but wonder perhaps these dishes looked unappealing but tasted surprisingly good. One after another, they cautiously picked up a bite and tasted. Soon after, their expressions changed. We have some pickled vegetables from our neighbors inside. If you don't mind, I can fetch them, Shen Cao offered as a remedy. Chewing a few more times, the tall man quickly accepted the awkward taste. Having been in the military for years, he was used to hardships. Beside him, the other man was being particularly finicky. Reluctantly, he replied, "That would be appreciated." Shen Cao went to get the pickled vegetables from the kitchen. Meanwhile, Lu Shu continued to enthusiastically recommend, "Have some porridge. This weather is perfect for it. Ah Cow makes the best porridge." The guests looked at the mushy white porridge and then at Lu Shu who was devouring it, deep in thought. After a while, the fair-skinned man unexpectedly spoke up, "If you have the ability, don't vomit secretly." "I don't understand what you're saying," Lu Shu denied stubbornly, ignoring their backgrounds and coldly saying, "Whether you want to eat or not, it's impolite to criticize food someone has worked hard to make." The table fell silent. Just as the tall man was about to lean over and whisper something, the fair-skinned man picked up his spoon and slowly took a bite of the porridge. Seeing his sullen expression, the tall man couldn't help but want to laugh. Changing his words at the last minute, he teased in a low voice, "Oh my, Menting, you've actually been scolded by a younger generation. Should I help you beat him up?" Menting glanced at him sideways and kicked him under the table. It was just a light tap, but it brought a smile to his face. Watching their interactions, Lu Shu, who had been dissatisfied just moments ago, suddenly felt envious. It took such affection and shamelessness to flirt with each other in front of strangers. After the pickled vegetables were served, everyone's appetite improved, but there wasn't enough porridge. "Sorry, I didn't know beforehand and only cooked enough for the two of us," Shen Cao apologized. "It's our fault for intruding." The tall man glanced around. The small house was indeed simple but tidy. He looked up at the roof and pointed to a spot, saying, "This area seems about to collapse. As a token of gratitude, let me reinforce it for you." "You know how to fix roofs?" Lu Shu exclaimed in surprise. "It's not difficult." "Then I'll go find Brother Myanjin and borrow a ladder." Lu Shu was about to move but was stopped by the man. "No need." The group went to the courtyard. The tall man jumped onto the roof and carefully lifted a few tiles. "These ones already have cracks. Could you fetch some new ones?" "Sure." Lu Shu immediately went to find Brother Myanjin, returning with a basket of tiles. "Brother, I also want to help. Can you take me up there too?" The man jumped down, grabbed him effortlessly, and carried him up. "Woo!" Lu Shu cheered happily. "Brother, you really know martial arts. Can you teach me?" "I've practiced." "Can you teach me?" "Let's fix the roof first," the man said, then called out to the people in the courtyard, "Since we're here, and it's hot outside, why don't you go inside and cool off?" "Exactly." At this moment, Lu Shu suddenly felt a surge of pride. He felt like the head of a household, repairing the roof. Shen Cao led the guests into the house. The atmosphere became somewhat awkward, with the man staring up at the person fixing the roof. Shen Cao had no choice but to continue sewing Lu Shu's clothes. He had torn his sleeve earlier in the morning in the woods and so, they had borrowed needle and thread from Aunt Zhu's house on the way back. The fair-skinned man's neck grew tired from looking up, so he pulled his gaze back and rested for a moment, noticing the tiny speck of blood on Shen Cao's finger where he had pricked it with the needle. "Guest, ... On the roof, chatter filled the air. After finishing repairs, the two men found a secluded spot to chat, regretting they hadn't met sooner. Lu Shu led his guest to the vegetable garden, ensuring that their conversation remained private. Inside the house, Shen Cao had staunched the bleeding and, seeing the guests with nothing to do, thought for a moment before deciding to give them a tour. Although the guests didn't think the humble house had anything worth seeing, using this to pass the time was agreeable enough. After a tour of the main hall and kitchen, Shen Cao led him to his own bedroom. The guest immediately noticed books piled on the table, walked over, and glanced at them, instantly understanding the reason behind Shen Cao's unusual behavior. "You're a scholar? Is it because you're preparing for the imperial examination that you haven't done much housework?" the man asked, his eyes falling on a scroll. Curiously, he inquired, "What's this? Can I take a look?" "I would be honored." Shen Cao unrolled the scroll, revealing a painting and calligraphy. "This is an authentic work of the late emperor," the man recognized it at a glance, turning to him with sharp eyes. "How did you come by this?" "Lord Xiao, this was bestowed upon my father by the late emperor when he was still alive, and my father passed it on to me on my 10th birthday, Shen Cao explained. "My father is surnamed Shen and he had been serving in the Hanlin Academy." "You're the second son of Shen Yanqing." "Exactly. I've long heard of Shen Yanqing's two sons, the elder displaying sharpness, and the younger, gentle in temperament and skilled in painting and calligraphy. I've met Shen Hui a few times, but this is the first time I've met you in person. However, how did you recognize me?" Nowadays, intermarriage among men in the Xian dynasty is not uncommon, owing to the celebrated marriage 15 years ago between Lord Zhao Yelin, then the left Prime Minister, and General Yan Mingting. Shen Cao paused, smiling, "And since you've been married for 15 years and with your remarkable presence, I guessed." Zhao Yelin awkwardly shifted his gaze. "Has my example spread far and wide?" "It's not that really. Since ascending to the position of Regent Prince, your every move has been under scrutiny," Shen Cao replied frankly. "Well, that's true. The late emperor passed away early, leaving behind an orphaned heir. Zhao Yelin was appointed Prince Regent to His Majesty's son, causing widespread controversy amid fears of his ambitious intentions to control the court and usurp the throne. Surprisingly, as the crown prince grew older and began to understand state affairs, Zhao Yelin voluntarily resigned and went on outings with General Yan Mingting." "Why are you here?" Zhao Yelin suddenly remembered something. "Before leaving the capital, your father and colleagues mentioned your engagement and expected it to be consummated by next spring. So why aren't you preparing for the wedding in the capital, instead of working as a farmer here?" "To be honest, the engagement was arranged when I was a baby and not my choice. I didn't want to delay my life or that of another person, so I left the capital. Now that I've met Xiao Wu, we share mutual affection. I've sent a letter to my father to dissolve the engagement, and once it's annulled, I'll marry Xiao Wu." Shen Cao explained. It turned out to be another complicated engagement. Even though Zhao Yelin and Yan Mingting are now as sticky as glue, they were both holding their breaths when they were first forced to get married. "Marriage is a big deal, and it's not a game, especially the one mentioned when you were a baby," Zhao Yelin said. "If you can't get Shen Yanqing to agree, scare him with this token." "Thank you, sir." Shen Cao took the token with a smile and bowed. "If fate allows, I might be able to attend your wedding with Xiao Wu," Zhao Yelin said, jokingly. "At that time, you should not personally cook to entertain guests." The two men smiled at each other. To thank him for this token, Shen Cao decided to gift him something and reported, "I don't know if Lord Zhao is interested in the painting and calligraphy of the former Zhang Lao." "Of course, I am. Before, because of lack of funds, I have sold Zhang Lao's painting, and then the shopkeeper heard that I wanted to redeem it and wanted to raise prices. If Lord Zhao wants to, why not go and redeem it?" Shen Cao told him the pawnshop's address. "All right, we'll set off soon," Zhao Yelin chuckled, "you sure know how to give gifts. I'll have to personally spend money to buy it back. If I weren't in a tight spot right now, I would have gone to redeem it myself and give it to you. Don't worry about it. How about you give me another one of your own calligraphy or paintings? Maybe one day you'll become as famous as Zhang Lao, and I'll be begging for one," Zhao Yelin joked. "You flatter me, Lord Zhao," Shen Cao modestly smiled, but nonetheless he picked up the brush and started a painting. Zhao Yelin looked at the portrait of the two figures he knew so well, his mouth curling into a smile. I might just want to take this painting to my grave. Shen Cao chuckled at his teasing. Before long, the other two men returned. Thank you both for your hospitality. Perhaps we'll meet again, Zhao Yelin bid farewell. Shen Cao replied, farewell, and may you have a safe journey. After getting on the carriage, Zhao Yelin looked at Yan Mingting and asked, what did that lad talk to you about? He wanted to learn martial arts from me and hear about our love story. He also asked for my help. Yan Mingting pulled out an amber piece. He said he's from the Lu family in Jiangnan. When we pass through Jinling, he wants us to visit his parents and get some money to buy lots of good clothes, shoes, and bowls for his future bride. The Lu family in Jiangnan. Zhao Yelin exclaimed, then chuckled meaningfully. Interesting. By the way, I gave the lad 10 taels as a thank you gift for meals, Yan Mingting added. Coincidentally, I secretly left 10 taels in Shen Cao's room. We really think alike. Yan Mingting extended his hand slowly, I've given away every last penny. Lord Zhao, when will you give me some spending money again? Asterisk. It's a pity. I really hit it off with that man and wanted to learn martial arts from him. Lu Shu said. If it's meant to be, you'll meet again, Shen Cao smiled lightly. Meeting someone from across the country again would indeed be miraculous. Lu Shu didn't hold much hope for that, then asked, what did you talk about with that man? Why do you suddenly seem so close? He's Zhao Yelin, Lord Zhao. Oh, him. Shen Cao couldn't hold back a laugh. You do know he's the Prince Regent, right? I know he is, but he's not angry with us, right? He can't be. Lu Shu widened his eyes, seeing Shen Cao nod, he almost fainted, to think I even criticized him in person. Am I going to die? No, he actually quite likes you. How do you know? Because of this, Shen Cao showed him the token, he promised to help me annul the engagement contract. Lu Shu stared at the token for a moment, then suddenly realized, right, he's the Prince Regent. Asking your father to agree to annulment would be a piece of cake with his help. I hope I won't need to use this token, Shen Cao sighed in relief, looking up at Lu Shu. Xiao Wu, I've already sent a letter to my father to request the annulment. Once the contract is dissolved, we'll be truly free. Although he could discuss marriage plans in front of Lord Zhao, he hesitated in front of Xiao Wu. He couldn't provide Xiao Wu with a better life yet. A letter to request annulment. Lu Shu slapped his head, you're so thoughtful. I'll also write a letter to my parents requesting annulment. All right. Lu Shu picked up the pen and began writing. However, with his limited education, he couldn't express his feelings in detail. He simply wrote 4 big characters hastily, I want to annul. Tomorrow I'll send the letter at the town. Okay. Lu Shu returned the letter to his room. Shortly after, Shen Cao came over with an envelope. Xiao Wu, it seems Lord Zhao left some money for us. Oh? Big brother also gave me 10 taels. How much did Sir Zhao give? Shen Cao paused subtly, 910 taels. How much? 910 taels, Shen Cao said, you can use this money to open a shop and manage your finances. Is this the financial power of a dignified Prince Regent? Lu Shu, who was used to extravagant spending, had never seen someone casually give away so much money and asked sincerely, Ah Cao, do you think I have a good chance of becoming a Prince Regent? You don't want to go to the capital, do you? The position of Prince Regent isn't suitable for you. What a gentle way of rejecting me. But Lu Shu was happy to hear it. He raised his head and kissed him on the face, then another kiss, and another kiss. Shen Cao smiled and raised his eyes only to suddenly met stunned eyes, staring straight from outside. Following his gaze, Lu Shu saw the bamboo weaver and that magistrate Shen were both standing stiff in the yard, staring through the window at them. The bamboo weaver was once again impressed by their deep brotherly love, and when he saw the two were about to come out of the house, he quickly said to the guest beside him, "The road is reached, I'll take my leave." "Hey, big brother, what are you running away for?" Lu Shu chased after him. "Don't call me big brother." The bamboo weaver was afraid of being caught and kissed in the face, so he ran away fast. "Don't chase me. Your friendship is too much for me, you youngsters." End chapter. Dandy escapes from marriage. Chapter 43. Lu Shu went after the bamboo weaver and soon they both disappeared. Shen Cao knew he was deliberately finding excuses to leave here, avoiding interaction with Magistrate Shen. "You actually came." Shen Cao looked at his elder brother and smiled. I was originally going to ask if I was disturbing you, but I don't need to ask now, do I?" Shen Hui stared meaningfully at his cheeks. Shen Cao touched his face and smiled, "Let's talk inside." Looking at the rundown exterior of the house, it was indeed no better inside as it was narrow and cramped. The mud walls looked like they could collapse at any moment, and Shen Hui suspected that a heavy rain could wash away the house. "Sit down, let me pour you a cup of tea." Shen Cao took a cloth and wiped the stool before letting him sit down. He then went to fetch tea leaves and said after a while, "We're out of hot water, I'll go heat some up." Shen Hui followed him with interest into the kitchen, watching him light the fire in a refined manner, which seemed out of place but find it amusing. "I really want to invite father and mother so we can all see how you are doing right now," Shen Hui chuckled. "Don't gloat, help me sweep the house. We just had guests, and I haven't had time to tidy up yet." "You're quite good at ordering people around." Shen Hui twitched his mouth and went to grab a broom, sweeping the main room and asking, "What guests? The villagers or new friends?" "Lord Zhao and General Yan." There was a sudden silence on the other side and then Shen Hui rushed over with a changed expression, "Are you kidding me? Do I look like someone who jokes? I wouldn't have believed the old you but now, I'm not so sure." After saying that, Shen Hui asked, "How did they end up here?" Shen Cao recounted today's events, and Shen Hui listened and said, "I haven't heard a word about it. It seems they really just came for sightseeing and don't need me to entertain them." Then I'll stay here for another day or two." Shen Cao couldn't help asking, "You've just taken office, why are you so free?" "Haha, I've just arrived." "Are you trying to kick me out already?" "That's not what I meant." "Don't worry, I only came after finishing my work. I'll have to return to Huai Prefecture tomorrow." When Lu Shu returned, the two of them were already sitting and drinking tea, talking about things he couldn't understand, like court matters, the emperor, and government affairs. "I'm back." Shen Cao turned his head to look at him. Lu Shu glanced at Shen Hui, "Sir Shen, hello." "Hello to you, too. It's getting late, I'll go cook." "You guys continue chatting." Lu Shu immediately went into the kitchen. "Does this lad dislike me so much?" Shen Hui asked quietly. "He doesn't know you're my elder brother. He just doesn't like dealing with officials." "Then you're done for." Shen Hui gloated and called out loudly, "Xiao Wu, come over here, let's chat." "Brother." Shen Cao whispered while Shen Hui chuckled, "Let's chat." Reluctantly, Lu Shu came out of the kitchen and sat down on the other side. "Sir Shen, what do you want to chat about?" "Let's talk about your family. Do you have any other siblings?" "I do." "What does your father do?" Shen Cao subtly warned him with his eyes but Lu Shu ignored it. Lu Shu glanced at Shen Hui and asked, "Sir Shen just took office. Are you conducting a census already?" "No, just chatting out of curiosity," Shen Hui smiled. "Oh, I'm curious too. Does Sir Shen have any other siblings? What does your father do?" Normally, high-ranking people would likely get angry at such questions but Shen Hui didn't seem to mind. He answered seriously, "I have a younger brother who is 17. And you?" I wondered why he didn't come to Hawaii Prefecture with you. He turned rebellious. His wings are strong now, so he ran out to play. Should I catch him and bring him back? Shen Hui asked. Go ahead, Lu Shu replied casually. The two brothers paused, looking at him with confusion. He shrugged, even if you catch him, he'll definitely run away again. Why do you say that? Shen Hui asked. He's grown up. If he left home to play, it must be because your place isn't fun enough. Catching him back will only make him want to run away more, Lu Shu spoke from experience. If you really want him to stay put, you'll have to break his legs first, then have your family cry bitterly at his bedside. That'll keep him quiet for a while. The two brothers, ... Break his legs. Shen Hui smirked as he glanced at Shen Kao lightly, who gave him a warning glare which only made Shen Hui laugh. But my little brother is usually quite well behaved. I'm a bit reluctant to break his legs. What should I do? In that case, turn a blind eye. Lu Shu couldn't understand the mindset of these elder brothers who meddled in others' affairs so generously. Shen Kao pursed his lips, suppressing a smile. Suddenly, Shen Hui burst into laughter. You're quite amusing. If you ever get to know my brother, you might become good friends. Really? Lu Shu received unexpected praise and felt a bit curious. What kind of person is your brother? Most likely, he's a dandy too, which would explain their affinity. He's gentle but a bit rigid. He hardly ever goes out. Oh. He's kind and easily deceived. If you pretend to be pitiful in front of him, he'll believe it and do everything to help you. Oh. He's obsessed with calligraphy and painting, acts much older than his age, not at all like your lively self. Oh. Lu Shu thought for a moment, then waved his hand. Forget it, I don't think I can be friends with your brother. Shen Hui paused. Why not? He sounds like a bookworm, and I really can't stand bookworms. Shen Hui was puzzled and glanced at Shen Kao, who was sitting upright. He pointed at him and asked, Isn't Master K also a bookworm? Why do you like him then? Ah Kao is definitely not a bookworm. Lu Shu shouted, he's capable in the kitchen, adept in the hall, can catch bandits, fight thugs, sew clothes, prescribe medicine, and he's not driven mad by my beauty. The two brothers, ... Shen Hui looked at Shen Kao in surprise, who smiled modestly. Is everything he said true? Shen Hui asked. There's some exaggeration, Shen Kao smiled. In fact, I am also enchanted by his beauty, but he just doesn't realize it. Shen Hui, ... Is this person in front of him really his own brother? Lu Shu blushed, giggling foolishly. If there weren't others present, he would have hugged him and kissed him fiercely. As the sky gradually darkened, Lu Shu noticed that Sir Shen seemed in no hurry to leave, so he hinted subtly, Ah, it's getting dark pretty fast. Yet, Shen Hui sipped his tea. It's dark now, and there's hardly anyone on the road. They've all gone home. Yet, Shen Hui took another sip of tea. Lu Shu, ... Does this guy not understand human speech? Shen Kao chuckled. Today, Sir Shen intends to stay overnight with us. Let's go cook. What's going on today? One important guest after another? Lu Shu felt quite annoyed. He followed Shen Kao to the kitchen and asking quietly, why does he want to stay overnight? Can he even bear staying in our place? He's returning to Hawaii Prefecture tomorrow, so he's here to visit. Lu Shu was suddenly struck with a realization. Wasn't this Sir Shen being overly nice to Ake? They had only known each other for just a few days, yet he had already let Akao borrowed soldiers, shared meals together, and now he was even visiting their home. If this wasn't an intimate friend, then what else could it be? Intimate relationships were out of the question. He spent every day with Ake. Didn't he understand Akao's thoughts clearly? This beautiful man was always in front of him, and it took a lot of effort to win him over. But Sir Shen's intentions were hard to figure out. As he glanced up, he saw Sir Shen entering the kitchen again, standing beside Shen Cao, watching him attentively as he washed and chopped vegetables, with an indescribable smile on his face. Lu Shu's heart skipped a beat. He decided to break the ice and ask bluntly, "Sir Shen, you know I like Ah Cow, right?" Shen Hui turned his head, looking at him with puzzlement. Then you also know that Ah Cow likes me back, right? I couldn't be more aware. Then why are you getting so close to him? So annoying." After adding the firewood, Lu Shu immediately stood up, squeezed between the two and subtly pushed Shen Hui aside as he praised, "Wow, Ah Cow, you wash the vegetables so cleanly." Shen Hui, ... Can you even praise that? And you cut the potatoes into such fine strips. Shen Hui, ... If you hadn't said that, I would have thought you were cutting potato chunks. Ah Cow, how about we sleep together tonight? Shen Hui, ... No. Shen Hui immediately refused. Didn't he said that honest officials do not interfere with family affairs? Why does this official kept meddling in his family's affairs? So annoying. Lu Shu turned back to him with dissatisfaction, "Sir Shen, let's be reasonable. We only have 2 beds at home. If you take one, the only option left is for the 2 of us to squeeze together into the other bed. No need. Shen Cao and I can squeeze together into one." "You rest well," Shen Hui said. Lu Shu almost lost his temper and wanted to punch someone. Fortunately, Shen Cao intervened in time, "You each take a bed, and I'll sleep on the floor." Lu Shu and Shen Hui glanced at each other, both seeming dissatisfied with this but was unable to come up with a better solution. The 2 of them couldn't possibly share a bed, could they? During dinner, Shen Hui eagerly awaited the dishes to be served but lost interest as soon as they were placed on the table. "Eat quickly, Sir Shen, what are you staring at?" Lu Shu urged, deliberately asking, "Don't you look down on Ah Cow's cooking skills?" "How could I?" Shen Hui forced a smile, took a few bites under their gaze, and said, "The taste is quite good, very delicious." Lu Shu looked at him in astonishment, feeling complex. Rarely did someone appreciate Ah Cow's cooking skills without any reservations, but he couldn't be sure if Shen Hui liked Ah Cow the same way as he did. "If it's good, have some more." Shen Cao smiled and served his brother some more food. "No need to be polite, I'll help myself," Shen Hui said. Just as Shen Cao withdrew his chopsticks, a bowl appeared in front of him. Lu Shu held the bowl eagerly, looking at him with puppy eyes. Shen Hui smiled and served him more dishes. Lu Shu ate happily. Seeing him wolfing down the food while still praising the cooking, Shen Hui's doubts about his brother mostly dissipated. How much must he love his little brother to give up everything for him? Late at night, after Shen Cao had laid out the bedding in the hall and the others had obediently lain down to rest, the candle was extinguished, and the small dilapidated house fell silent. It was unclear how long it had been when suddenly a small cloth bundle was thrown out from Lu Shu's room and landed on him. He glanced at the neighboring room first, hearing no movement, then stealthily crept into Lu Shu's room, groping in the dark and crawling onto his bed. Lu Shu immediately hugged him, whispering softly, "Next time, don't let him stay overnight. He really meddles too much." Shen Cao rubbed the back of his head, kissed his forehead, and at that moment, there was a sudden commotion from the next room. The 2 of them froze. Shen Hui got up, lit a candle, and walked out of the room. He saw Shen Cao lying obediently on the floor and asked, "I'm a bit thirsty. Where's the water?" Shen Cao got up to pour him some water, but Shen Hui gently led him into the kitchen and whispered, "Even though you're both men, you must maintain proper etiquette. Understand? Until you're married, anything could happen. Some things shouldn't be rushed, but if a mistake is made, the regret could last a long time," Shen Hui said. I understand, Shen Cao nodded. Shen Hui trusted his character naturally, but in this secluded place, with only the two of them day in and day out, it was easy to become emotionally entangled. Moreover, your engagement hasn't been truly resolved yet. If the other family causes trouble, you might not necessarily get away unscathed. What would happen to him then? I understand. Shen Hui finally felt at ease enough to go back to sleep. Yet, right. The next day, before dawn, he found only the bedding was left on the floor, with Shen Cao having already run off to someone else's room. He took a deep breath and knocked on the door. Shen Cao, I'm leaving. The door opened quickly, and Shen Cao exclaimed, leaving so early? It's a long journey, I have to leave early. Shen Hui glanced at him irritably. Shen Cao smiled awkwardly and went to the kitchen to pack things up. Our neighbor sent us some pickled vegetables, a local specialty here. You can try some, and if you like it, I'll send you some more next time. Shen Hui watched him gather various snacks, lowering his voice. You know what I want to ask, don't evade the topic. Shen Cao smiled lightly. Can you give me at least a bit of trust? Hey, then what were you doing sneaking into his room in the middle of the night? Couldn't you hold back for one night? Shen Cao nodded sincerely. Because of our feelings, Shen Cao said, just like you did back then when you sneaked over to sister-in-law's house. Shut up. Shen Hui glared at him, grabbed the snacks and pickled vegetables, and headed out. Shen Cao chuckled a few times. Let me see you off. Lu Shu heard the commotion, groggily got up, saw Shen Hui leaving, and immediately perked up, swiftly bidding farewell. Shen Hui's carriage was waiting outside the courtyard. After he boarded, he bid farewell to them. Lu Shu's eyes narrowed with joy, pretending to be polite. Sir Shen is welcome to visit again. Since you've sincerely invited me, I'll come again next month, Shen Hui said. Lu Shu's smile froze. As the carriage began to move, Shen Hui heard Lu Shu chasing after it. If he didn't know any better, he would have thought Lu Shu was bidding a reluctant farewell. But in reality what Lu Shu was shouting after the carriage was, I take back what I just said. I take it back, take it back, take it back. Shen Hui chuckled to himself, opened the curtain and shouted, go back, no need to send me off. I'll visit you again next time. Lu Shu was on the verge breaking down. End chapter.